Yeah. So today is Oil Lavov Nissan, Tov Shin Samaktes, Shiren Hemshech Tov Hashem Ayin Beis, Chelik Aleph, Dibur Amaschil, the Hashem Oma Hamachasa Ani, Parsha Vayer Tov Reish Ayin Dalet, Omud Tov Nun Dalet. So we're holding it by the musik that Chokm Stimor, that the Shem Stimor is indicated the Koyach HaStimos HaAtzmi, through which Pnimius Atik Mamish it becomes Ein Shel Chochma. And we saw that the Lashon of the Zohar Kodesh to the Yin van Asisa Pille, and on that the Zohar Kodesh Taiche Kisui Lavusha de Nahoira I Datika. And we saw that normally a Lavush and a Kisui is a Taiche, the Koyach Taktoin is Machasu Mailim of the Koyach Elio. That means to say that B'derech Ilava Olo Void Shlapsis HaKoyches VaSfiras Ebazeh, is that there's a certain Yerida and the Achiza in the Kli of the Taktoin, or that becomes like a Helem, like I mean the Pshitas or the Teike of Adin, and it was in the Koyach HaElim. However, though, we touch here that the Chochmah becomes, particularly Chochmah Stimor, becomes a Kisuya Nahoira Da'atiko is Eino Boivim Klazeh. We saw that the etzem inyan of Tainuk, Atzmi, what that is Atiko, yeah, that becomes and is Nase the inyan Achokma. In other words, that it's a Helim Atzmi, that the etzem itself literally changes its form of his galas. Yeah, and Ubezehu Misalem B'meshe Nase B'chinas Achokma. In other words, not that there's a Dova Hamayli al Derech Harogil, nor that the Etzem Inyan of the Mokir Ha'atzmi itself changes its oifen of what you might call a state, and it becomes a Dova which is Eino Mahus Mamish from the Atzmi, but it's impossible to say that it's another Mahus. And it's Misalim, the Etzem is Misalim Toich Atzmi. And Mamela Moven, the Beginnes Akisui, Ein Zerak Shemachase Umailim. It's about 6 lines down from the top. Alaize Koyer Shalomailim Imenu. Ukamoi Kol Koyer Tachtoin. Shemal Bishla Koyach HaElyon Umali Molov Ukamoi Bilu over all of Kahai Gardner. Shehein Koyachas Mivdolim Zemise. Obese Shemal Bish Oisei Yehu Malimo. Although the Koyach Tachton is Malbish, the Koyach HaElyon, and that causes a Helem. The Helem is a Helem Atzmi. The Hainu Loima. What do we mean by saying Helem Atzmi? The Hainu Loima Shak Koyach HaElyon Bo Bishinui Amuus. V'naase koyach hatachtoin, ki im mashe mislavish boy. Umamela ein ze atzmus koyach ha'elyon, ki im ha'orame. Yeah, remember, like every olol is only ha'orah from the ila, and even though there's a slapses from the ila in the olol, but it's only b'derech ha'orah mi ha'ila. V'keinu berov vinyone ha'slapses. Ki im B'shinui Amus v'nase koyach hatachton ki im mashe mislavish boy. Umamela ein ze atzmas koyach ha'elyon ki im ha'orah mimeno. V'koyach hatachton shemalim olov ein ze helem gomur. Because after all, there is a certain gilui of the koyach ha'elyon alidei the koyach hatachton. Just like in Seichel Umidas, there's a certain gilui of the Yin and Seichel alidei the Midah. And the Midah is Megala what the Seichel, what's Va'oifen. But the Seichel it was, because if it's a Zamida, the Midas Ha'ava is a sign that the Seichel was a Seichel Shel Ha'ava. B'chulu. If Mamela ain't a Helem Gomo. the gamli achar ha'helem meya ha'oros koyacha ha'elyon. Ma'ashenkim behelem de chokhma shemalim aratainug einu boivin kozeh. Me'acha she'inyan ha'helem u she'atainug atzmei hu nase bechinas chokhma ubezeh hu misalem. Harei ha'kisui va'helem hu atzmi. The kisui v'helem is the thing itself. It's the very etzem itself. V'hainu shezehu atzmiyas atainug mamish v'nase b'chinas chokhma ubezeh misalim atainug ha'atzmi ub'chinas helem gomo. So here we see a dvar pele. We'll soon be marked a little bit more about it. V'zehu inyan b'chinas hastimus de pnimius chokhmas timor. Shesosum vanelam be'etem. A commission is bolio perek reizayin. The beginners pnimius chokhmas timor. U beginners makif do choizer. Shesosum be'etem. We spoke about the inyan from makif do Yosho, and then we spoke about the inyan from makif do choizer. And we said that the pnimius, the steamers, that in chokhmas timor there are two oifanim, or two pirushim. That there's one inyan in chokhmas timor that was only sosum min hamakablim, and then there's an inyan that sosum be'etem, and that inyan from sosum be'etem is the steamers of what we call the makif do'er choizer. And we, like it's mavu in the Hemshech Toshinu, the Bossi Legani, that the makif of do'er choizer is never, it's not really shayat that it should ever come today. Should ever come to the goloi. Now that's the aliyah v'istalkes of all the giluyim b'teicha etzem mamis, and they're all misalim how they are in the, or not how they are, they're all misalim in the etzem, and so therefore their helem is managed with the helem of the etzem alay. And that's the inyan of makif the oyer choizer. Therefore, it's not what the mashpia gives anything. No, on the contrary, he withholds and withdraws from the mekabel b'derech klal, meaning that it's those inyonim which are not shy to come from the mashpia to the mekabel klal, or other, but they are misalim in his etem. If I'm going to ask yourself the shaila, what is sof? What does the mekabel have from that? What ma zenaf kimina like kilo ezinin yesh legavi the mekabel. So it was much more over there in Perek Reisayin that sof kol sof. There are certain times where certain inyonim where that makif the choizer is al choponim nimtzo or mishkale boifen not bepnimius or beatzmius al choponim betchila, and when it is nimshach, it's nimshach even atzmi. It's poil on the makabel, also not in an even that he's mamish masik ze klal. It's a poil of him boifen makifi beatzmi. And for a dugmele from we saw was the inyan from the Schacher the Sukkah. But the Schacher the Sukkah, this is from the Tshuva of Yom Kippurim. And we saw that was the inyan a dugmele from the inyan from Oyer. We saw here also that the inyan from Tshuva Amitias of Yom Kippurim is a dugmele from the inyan from Oyer Choizer. And yet nonetheless we say that the Makifim of the Sukkah are from the Keteiros that was that the Kohen was machnis l'tei Kodesh HaKadoshim. From that Anana Keteiros in the Kodesh HaKadoshim mamish, from them we nimshach the Schach HaSukkah Kiyadu Mefusam in the famous Hemshech at the Vakocha from the Rebbe Marash was Mavayad that the Sukkah, the Schach of the Sukkah is the Anana Keteiros from the Keteiros which was brought into the Kodesh HaKadoshim on Yom Kippurim. Amir Zetman that the Schach is after all Mishkale, of its Mishkale boven but it's Lamayla Mi'od, and nicht Mishkale and even Pnimi Va'atzmi. However, we see that on Simchas Torah and Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah, or even that Schach becomes a Pnimi. So we see that Tzok it is nimshach into the Makabel, but then it's nimshach, and as our way that the Kabbalah from them is davki with the goof, Hagashmi and Davke Boifen Atzmi, nicht in een even van clear of an understanding of Hasoge, Havona, Vakaita, Veze, but this is the Amshochas Haetzer. And the far, it's one on Shmini Atzeres, is what we call the Leides HaNeshomas. The Etzem Neshomas themselves become born. Or that's a Ingen van Ainen Atzmi, pinkt as if the Ben is me Atzmi Sa Mamish. And we're going to see a doing from them as we go along.
I learned that when you bench lulav in the sukkah, then you bring down...
Yeah, but that's only Lafi, that's only a Hauram here. Over the Etzem, Pnimis for Atzmis, that is Schach, but that only becomes Nimshach on Simchas Torah. You follow? On the contrary, it's much more that the whole Amshocha, the lulav is like Achona. But that's bringing down the Makifim, how do you call it, the Oifani of the Makifim, the Rashai to be Mamshich, alle der Avedas Adam, and Yamot wird das eine von Kiel Milmaila Mamish, also in Matona zu Pastor. Und das nimmt man auf. Man nimmt auf die ganze Linie durch a Sturm in Pashtas, in Gashmis Oil und Kipshutai. Aber mir sagt man von dem, die Ihnen, der Stimmes Amitis, der Chokmas Timor, is not really shy that it should be Nimsha. But das ist Kilo Matona, or as I mean, how do you call it, a Simon of Ava Atzmis, mitzad the Mashpia, that nonetheless he gives it. But mitzad Seder, in Yonim, I feel Ali de Aveda, it's not really shy that it should be Nimsha. We're going to see a dogma wie einzeln van de ganze Emshek in this period. Auch upon him, so we see from that the emes of bio in the Lashon Chokmas Timor is the inner van de Machif de Oyer Choizer. In Bamela the Pnimis Abba, who Pnimis Atik, is really einen shel ha'atzmas, how he is mudal legamri, and the tainu ga'atzmi is only kol b'teich atzmi. It's not really nitan le legolu, and those are the pshat chokmas timor. And so we see, that's why we saw here that in the earlier chapter that the only way to really kaviyochol be mamshik and form a shayches with those in yonim is through Kabbalah Seil. And Kabbalah Seil is the where the Adam is not by Zir. You know, he just gave himself away completely. Ain't call Inyan Bezerak Me'anet Vidos is Rotten Haboirei. And in that itself, it's also an Asina Atmias, because everybody to do something needs a little bit of what you might call motivation, as they call it in English. Epistafa home was all, as they to use the expression, stupen de Wagen, it should push things along. But it was just purely mitzakah. So we have to say that there's some koyach in the Adam, but that's kilo or any for machiv to rechoiza. Everyone's Kabbalah says, he just goes back, milmata l'mayla, beliko, hagbola klaro, beliko yedia bi'atzme, what he's really doing. Yeah, and Simchas Tezek, I can say, all we know is it's kind of dance, and having a kaf mashki and dancing, you know what I mean? That's the way of it. Yeah, from Simchas Torah. Is the famous story was the Rebbe came into the Frierdiker Rebbe once. When was Aishana Rebbe? He came into the Frierdiker Rebbe. And the Frierdiker Rebbe was writing something. So the Rebbe said, B'mei Siktin, what's he in it? And the Rebbe said he's preparing the Maimon for Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. He's preparing a Maimon. So the Rebbe looked at him. He said, Simchas Torah lernen? The Rebbe looked at Frierdiker Rebbe and he said, Simchas Torah lernen? So the Frierdiker Rebbe just sort of thought for a moment, and then the Frierdiker Rebbe said, he said, Amos, he said, ich darf tun mine. He said, well, I have to do mine. I have to give out of mine. So, was it a time? He said, ich darf tun mine. It's a very amazing story. So from that we see that there are certain Eifanim where they become in them stimulants. So there's a steamer how Chochma Stimor is Sosum Legabi Chochma Iloa. And Legabi the Ine van Atzilus Beklau. And so that's the Ine van Steamers Mia Mekablim Al Efshori Levolidei Gilui. And it does take a Kamli de Gilui Masuya. Steamers be etem, Chochma Stimor be etem, das ist die Ine van Makiv der Erchoizer, mitzad Atzme eno Shaykh Gilui Bezeh. Mitzad etem Atnua shel ha'inyonim ein Shaykh Bezeh Gilui. If there's any Gilui, das ist Gilui als mitzad de Koach Atzmi himself. Mitzad Atzmi Saint Sof himself. So much more than Reishaim. That anything that really comes out of that is really mitzad. If there is a Gilui, das ist the Atzmi himself does that. The Fisa Kumtois. That we've got a absolute peddler-dicker Indian here, which in Emerson, certain ideas have occurred to me about it, but maybe at another time I could maybe say something more about it. I guess there's a few lashonas that I need to sort of, absorb the whole message before I say what I'd want to say. Al Chaponim, we see etem is milim of itself, by looking to be something else, or that something else is really itself. It's on the one hand, doesn't the Atzmi itself is hidden on itself? Yeah. And yet on the other hand, that thing which looks to be a hiding is really the Etem. It's just that but Vivala the Etem is doing that, then it can be a Helam that you can't sort it out. It can be, because since it's coming from the Etem himself, and he's hidden himself by becoming that, not by being mislavish in that, not by becoming that, then to a certain extent it's got the Helam of the Etem. Even though he's gone down through that, and he's come nearer to you, but to a certain extent he's still remaining completely Nilam, Kamoshu Hubiatzmusay. It's like a dovo, even, how would we say, Mavil, it's not just Stamadova, but it's killed. The Etem plays on two fronts. Over both of them are the Etem. That's what he said over there in those chapters. Pnimius Abba, who Pnimius Atik, he said the Emes of Pshat was Chochma Stimor. In other words, that in Chochma Stimor, there you got the Inem from Pnimius Abba, and this is Mamish Pnimius Atik. Over this is Abba, and this is Atik. Or he said the Pshat that we're learning now is that Be'emes, they are really one and the same thing. And that, what it looks to be Chochma, is really how the Etzem has hidden himself inside another Levush. He's made himself look like that. Aber in Emerson, that's really him. It's over the Mekablim that are coming from Atzilas, they're not in that Etzem. They look at that and they don't really, just like they don't really know the Pnimis and the Mahus of the Etzem, so they don't know what really that is either. And that's what we see in Afil Moshe Rabbeinu. Well, in Yonah was Chochma. In Yonah was Mamish Chochma. Yeah, that when the Eivishter, when he asked the Eivishter, Rabbi Akiva, he saw Rabbi Akiva's Stalkes. He said, Zu Torah v'zu Schora. The Gemara in Masechta Menachos. And so the Eivishter said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Shtoik, kach olav b'machshova lefonai. So it put down in Siddhas that Mitzad Echad, Shtoik, sounds almost like a break, just keep quiet, But he's Moisef, Kach Olav B'machshova Lefonai. Lefonai, that takes my Atzmi, it's my Pnim, yes. And yet the expression is Olav Machshova. Machshova indicates some sort of an inyan which is shot to Chochma. If you say Machshova, then Epis Ido, something that's already shot to call it Chochma. And yet nonetheless, Shtoik. Moshe Rabbeinu had to just accept that. He didn't really get, any Tosefes Piyal. They were just saying Shtoik. Kachol Machshova Lefonai. Remember Zetman, it's brought down on Siddhas, das ist die Inne von Chochma Stimor. Und das ist die immediate Inne von Chochma Stimor. Und mit Tzad Echad, Moshe Rabbeinu, weil dies in Yonah is Chochma, Gluya, he can't get that far. He can't, mit Tzad the Koach HaChochma, he's not massing. I feel Nakuda, and he says, Zu Torah v'zu Schora Akushia. Akushi. And the Eibishter doesn't answer him, but the Eibishter says to him, Shtoi. That the emissary avoider in Azayin is only to keep quiet. As he was stated by Aaron, by Yidoim Aaron. Aaron just went quiet. He didn't react. By Yidoim Aaron. So the Eibishter says to him, Shtoi. And yet nonetheless, he's moisif those words, Kach Olav Machshova Lefonai. He's assuming that there is a ina for Machshova. Machshova here means Chochma. But in that gufa, Olav Machshova. There's an aliyah in the ina for Machshova in Azam in Darge, but this is Sosum Be'etem. We're playing kill on both fronts. Now, why do we say shtoik? Because that's the same etem. Well, the same etem that says, shtoik, he says kachol v'machshov. It's both things are true. And that's the inyan from Chochmas Timor. The same inyan in Aveda, that's what we saw here. That was limud atera, but Kabbalah Tzel. Kabbalah Tzel is shtoik. Nobody's asking you to sit down and horror, to learn, be complete hefkeres atzmach. Nobody's asking you anything. Nobody says you have to be a lamdan or find a yid. You just have to give yourself away to the Zakka Moshe Hu. We see here then a pillar that the etem, what this is the etem, what this is tainu. And tainu is allemal the aliyah in the etem. It's always connected with a certain. You can't run away from the word gishmak in tainu. The tainu always must. The word can't change its own pshat. The word tainu means a gishmak, a tufta. We have to say that in that whole inyan, where shtoi kach olav v'machshov lefanai, the whole oifen hagisha is there, hidden in that is kilo atainu, a kilo, how can we say, a vergnügen by the Eibishter, a hidden atzmis helendike tainu. And it's after that the Rebbe said, weißt doch der Meise. Wir verstehen nicht unser Rebbe. The Rebbe, if you trace the Rebbe's history, you see that he said things that none of the other Rebbeim ever actually said it quite that way. And the Rebbe said that we are permitted to say to the Eibishter, you've had enough of that time. He's soon going to say in the next chapter that that's a kaviyochel or that's a dinya from the Golas. That's what's going to come in the next chapter. And that dinya from Shtoig and the whole dinya, the dinya got a matter in the Golas. And Davki Dem is the Ava Achmis and there's the Tainug Achmis. I'll call Nochon. Emes Lamite. Aber wie bald das ist Sosum, der Vater Golas ist a Stimme. We versteht that the Golas. Pinkt said with Moshe Rabbeinu, he said he can't take that up. And Pinkt said in Mitzrayim, Moshe Rabbeinu the same thing. It's the same Moshe Rabbeinu. Lama hora Esau la'om. Said, I'm the leader of the Jewish people. I'm the Moshe Rabbeinu. Ich verstehe. Ich hab das nicht. That's what he said to the Eibishter. Maybe should do. The Elvis never asked any questions. How come you ask questions? Moshe Rabbeinu got it over his head. We see it weiter. The Gemara tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't go down. And they call it Arop Legami is Moshe Rabbeinu nicht. Da ist weiter. Aber hier ist a siman that the Seppes Einien da, or the Eibishter's Tainug, is nicht verstandig bei uns. And we have to just be makabel. And there's hidden in that Ahava, with all this Tainug, is in a gewaltige Ahava. And the Rebbe is the only one. The Rebbe said we have the right to say to the Eibishter. We have the right to say to the Eibishter, we feel, Moshe Rabbeinu all over here, we feel that you've had enough of that time. You understand? You had that time, the Shkven, the Golas, and all those inyonim occurred. You remember the Rebbe Tishkizot? He said we have the right to say to the Eibishter. And therefore we're going to see how more and a beer now on the whole inyan from this Ava Atmis and Steiner Atmis, it's hidden inside the whole inyan. And there's a steamer. And forget that Stimus is what causes the go, because on the outside you can't really figure what's going on. Yeah. Even though it's Chachma, it's got a beer, but Evish is not a beer. Or Moshe Ben said, versteht. Moshe Ben said, I'm the leader and I'm the one who carries the Jewish people on my shoulder. I don't know what I'm saying. I say, come to it. And he said, I'm not asking you any questions, my son. Yeah. I'm not looking for any terutzim for dir. They came along the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said, Ad Mosai. And by that lady that never she passed away, the one by the Goy, that's the whole thing. So, it's come to a mind, the matzav is mind. This behaltnis by their meaning. We have to take the Rebbe's koyach. We have to take on ourselves in a good neiven, in a kosher neiven, in a chassidish neiven. We have to and some punishment. Take this person coming here. You ever heard in Yiddish what stuppen der Zeit? You ever heard of the expression stuppen der Zeit? You don't know what to do and you don't know what anything, you just push the time, you just stup. Nog een woord, nog 2 wochen, you don't have any way out, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say, so you just push the time. Pink to this. For the ganze Meise mit der Medina, mit der Memshala, mit der ganze, die stuppen der Zeit. Think carefully about it. They don't have any idea what they're doing. They don't know what the hell it's going to be. They haven't got the faintest idea who they are or what they are. Yeah? And stuppen the time. There's a sound, there's a there, and there's a boide. Stup. Kommt again. A poem is sugar names. That's everyone's. Was touched up in the tide. Remember, here we're going to meet up with the Biur, how it is, Mitzad Eiveshter. And even maybe a little bit Mitzad Mekablin. But this is like the unbelievable summing up of the matzav, how it was at Le'achrei Tofresh Pei and maybe into the Peis and then over Sikumen. Toshin Yud and Siwan. Unsere, instead of a whole Seele. So here we're going to get the most unbelievable Biur B'Dover. We have to realize, the Dvorim Amukim ad ein shir, ad ein tachlis. So you have to be solet, I was a little bit married. Because with a good happened over we have to sort of appreciate in what whole a room, this whole thing is building itself. Anyway, so, and Amir Tashem, in this whole idea of what the Friedrich Etzem Martina becomes another thing. So, ich habe es sehr ärgerlich bisher. Wir bauen das steht in einem Beis, und das ist der Rabbinisch Masiaiden. Das ist moeilijke inyonim. Das ist nicht da. What I just said now was like an outer levush, a room to Hezbollah. Let's try and see a little bit further where we're going here. So says the Rebbe, that, yes, it's also be etzem, the lechera ain't more, wait a minute, you begin to tell him gomo, it's Helem Gomo. So we begin to stimus the pnimis chachmas timor, shesoserum v'nelam be'etem. Since he makes it, and he's the one who's making the whole thing, he himself is the thing. Not that there's a levushia which is marim on him. Amamira, that's a Helem Gomo, because Pink to say you can't know anything about him, you don't know anything about this piece either. As a man knit, they let it down closer to you, that in a certain way you can get to that, but you're not really getting, you don't know what you're getting at. כמו שהסבור ליאור, פרק רז, דבחינת פנימיס חוכמס תימור, הוא בחינת מכיר את הערך הזה, שסוסם ביאתם. That's a meatius in a steamer. That's what he was mavir over there. The locher ain't a moving. Meachish zo mashe mailim o machasa o bchinas atik. Ukipshitas losh na zoer, commissioners boliel, perikutzor deshe machase, because it was kisuya ulavusha, the atika, is from the pashtas of the losh na zoer, it's mashma, that it is a dova hamachase, like there is kilo a kli hamachase. He said, Eichu b'chinas sosum bi'etem, me'achis zo rak k'moi lavush ha'maylim. Since it's only lavush ha'maylim, haven't you said sosum bi'etem? Because every lavush ha'maylim lets something through. Everything about lavush ha'maylim, the koyach alien, to a certain extent, expresses itself through the lavush. So man, the lavush is maylim and what you might call mamayat, even of the intensity of the giloi. Over here comes a sosum bi'etzim, means you don't know anything. Absolute nothing. Steak. Just be quiet. Everything. What is it? So therefore he said, Eichel b'chinas sosum bi'etzim, Mashuk makar v'rish amaylim. Ve'al pi'anal nicha. She'ein zeh k'moi lavush. Even though those uses the expression kisuya ulavusha, it's not kisuya v'lavush. No, it's a kilo. Like somebody said here in the last year, Lavushi Maneu Bay. It's the Lavush is him himself. Ki'im shezeu ha'elema atzmi. V'ainu shezeu atzmi is atik mamish shenaso b'chidas chokmas timoa. U'bezeh dafke hu misalem. In other words, he's misalem inside his own soul. The reason why it doesn't bring Levushi Maneo Bay, because Levushi Maneo Bay, it attaches that the Levush covers him, and you don't really. And those attach not that he covers by inside something, he himself just becomes a different thing in order to get closer to you, but nonetheless you don't really get closer to him. He lets himself down towards you. But the only way you can get to him is becoming a completely oisazich. And then you don't really get to know what it is, but you can somehow or another be there. I mean, it's a good, an amazing idea. Ki'im shezo ha'elem atzmi, ainu shezo atzmi es atik mamish, u'bezer davki hu misalem. Harei b'chinas chokmas timoa, hi kemoi atik mamish. Mamish. Between us, steam is sosum be'etem. Just like atik is sosum be'etem, so it's also sosum be'etem. It's a manir that it came down in a way that it can be the beginning of a mamutza. Some way you can come back from lamata umag and you'll meet up with it. V'hine mibchinas hastima hazois nimsha koyach ha'hester. He said, davke from that steamers. Davke van that steamers is nimshach ha'hester, not a goloi, not a giloi. In other words, where does a koyach a kli hamalim, and there's a dova a lavush hamalim, so that something's nimshach. Yeah, and it can even be nimshach but a giloi, just that there's a certain hester after giloi. Obviously, Baal, that's him himself. Yeah, pnimis abahu, pnimis atik, that's him. And there's a pnimis atik. Pink, there's a pnimis atik is sosum vanellum. Be'etem hagdora. So the same with this inyan that comes about. This chokmas timah is also sosum b'diuk b'oivin kozeh. Avamina said that Rebbe Kumta said that's an inyan that davke from that chokmas timah, davke from that you read a klapei the makablim. There's nimshik lehem ayin from astora. And only when they somehow or another get through that astora, then they can form the kish. Then they can reach it. And you've got to get through that astora. So how do you do that? Well, I'm not quite sure at the moment, but let's see what he has to say, the Rebbe. Al derech ve'oy havei shoicharei musar. All of a sudden, Shalom Aleichem. That somebody who loves somebody, then he, how do you call it? He reprimands him with with Musa. Shemashtiru mailim ho'ava ha'atzuma b'bchinas haben yakir Ephraim. He said that he's got a tremendous ava, like the Eibishter has for Yidden. Gemara stated in the Pasuk, haben yakir Ephraim. Even Ephraim, that he was not such a good son. They were they were the tribes that drifted away. They weren't so good. Ephraim. Nonetheless, Ben Yakili Ephraim, the Mayim Rabim lo yuchlu l'chabes esor. In other words, the direct effect na'ava atzmi is that Mayim Rabim, doesn't matter what their toikef might be, what the koyach of those Mayim Rabim is, they couldn't possibly be mechaber, they couldn't wipe out as amitzot. Ava, uksiv ki azo kemovis Ava. The Ava is Azo kemovis. In other words, it does speak to Savior as Ava, that nothing could stop it. Azo kemovis Ava. The beginner hafti eschem omaha avai. So was it a touch? Azo kemovis Ava. I mean, Movis is the Eipach von alle Inyonim. Movis is the Eipach HaChaim. What a touch Azo kemovis Ava. We'll soon see in a second. We'll see from the Oifen Abir that we'll be able to maybe touch that posik a bissel mehr betuf tam. I don't know about betuf tam. To begin to say, Avti eschem oma Havai. In other words, that the Ava is a Ava mitzad the etzem shalamayla. And therefore nothing can possibly stop it. Even in Yonim from Torah mitzvahs not being kediboya with the whole thing, nothing can stop or be in any way mechaber or machlish for that Av. Bein kozer, and nonetheless, machase o Av legamrei, bekoyach chochmose yizborach, o mare ha'ifach. Here we see the kesher with chochmah. He said, in kozer, the Eibishter hides that Ava completely. But Golu, you don't see that Ava at all. Even though it's Ava Atzmius, that nothing could possibly in any way quench it. But Koyach Chochmosei, in other words, that there's a plan, how do you call it? Shtei Kach Olav Machshova. Kach Olav Machshova. In other words, that is Pnimius, a Chochma from the Eibishter. Umare HaHeipach, or he shows to the Makabel, he's like there. But Golui to the Makabel, it appears exactly the opposite. Visitors, the Tachlis HaKavona Bezeh, who be Teila Takein, Ula Haiti Validezeh, Bahatova Yeseiron. The whole Tachlis of that looking opposite is in order to be Matakein the Makabel and to give him benefit and goodness, Bahatova Yeseiron, with an unusually powerful Hatova. An unusually great and how do you call it, additional benefit. Ukiyadua the pnimius ha'ava mizgala be'ahefet davke. And as well known, the pnimius ha'ava is mizgala davke be'ahefet. So here we're going to see Amar and Dike Inyan's gate before. L'chera, it's a beer which we're familiar with. It's written as a beer in Kamakamas Bechseres. Over here we're talking about as a oimik in that Inyan, which it's not just that sometimes it's mavuah gvura shebechesed, already called, gvura shebechesed. But sometimes, in order to carry out the chesed, he has to, be mishnayig in benoyle begvura. I will see that can be in as I was loved up by from concept. But don't attach that the etzem ava itself, mitzad the chochma shebezeh, mitzad the pnimis verstand which is in them, he actually does mamish eipach of what ava implies. But Golui, he doesn't paint the Heper. So the Makabel can say, what's going on around here? But in Emerson, it doesn't mitzad the Goydel take you for Av. And so now he gives a dogma. Okay, you do the Pnimis Ava Mishgala Ba'ahiva Davke. Davke, when something the opposite of the Ava occurs, then you see the ultimate Azaz Pnimis of the Ava. Okay, Moyal Deramoshu, Ha'av, Oeves Benoi Mitzad Teva. Now here's very interesting. We're not talking about, all sorts of thought out avas and avas that he's thought about, and he said, this is my son, and I got this ava from that ava. No, the ava tivias that a father has to his son. Mamish the tivias. Mitzad teva, shuhu ava, shuhu achmis, the ava zu. He said, that's the achmis of the ava of a father to his son. Yesh noi belibay betmidias, rakshu be'elam. And that's the thing which never changes. Or that ava towards his ben, זה לא משתנה, לא טוב מה שיהיה. It wasn't in the time. Or that inner ava, tibias that he has for a ben, or that will never change. What sometimes he might say, he writes off his son, and continue, everyone's talking to Tom and Tim, and he writes him off, and he does, makes out he doesn't know him, and the other inyanim, the other zachen. Or we said that's all giluim. Or mitzad the teva, atzmi is inside. On the contrary, it could be he's going out mamish ba'ava even more mitzad those inyanim. In other words, that's a inyan which is always there between years. And why is it at inyan TV? Because here the inyan, which is a TV, it immense never works on that. That's just the inyan from mitzad yeter. It doesn't the atzmi. And Mamira doesn't believe boy even to medias. We're talking about a ben cotton. Or he mishtane for kadima, he falls down onto the ground, or he gets all dirty. As I yirgaz beyichas olav or of ma'i, the father will get tremendously angry with him. And say, give a cook with this guitar, and just that, you hit yourself and just get klapzach, and you got yourself all filthy and all messy, and he'll fly into a tremendous chaos. Ma'i, alasher hushpal menimos kokach, umiyasre oiselze, and he'll give him klep, he'll give him yisurim. The Ava forced him to that. It's not that he had to sit down and work out what's he going to do now. No, the Ava to machriach given. Ki im loy hoya oyeve loy ichpes loy klal ma shenishpal kamo shloy yichoisel ben chaver. If it so happened to another Yiddish kind, so he'd be upset. I'm going to go and help the child. Or die Stunde schreien auf die Kinder, tummeln auf ihm und schreien auf ihm. A Kinder gefallen. They raped the kid, try to help him. Put him, find out where his mother is, give him back to his mother or his father. Aber sein Kinder gefallen auf der Rand, fliegt rein und Brügers in a Chaos. Was ist das so geschmutzig? Was ist das? What have you done here? What's it? Yeah. So the Rebbe said, does a Ipuch have? What's he getting all to cocked and all breakers about? So he says that if it would have happened to Ben Chavera, it wouldn't have been Ichpesloi, not the Taisloi Ichpesloi, he wouldn't do anything about it, but it wouldn't be Ichpesloi, but even Kozeh. Rak, mitzad oitze mahavose Elov hu misrageis, mipnei she nogeya hadover leliboy. If Havu see this, that he gets off kebreges off a kid. Not because the kid is nogea mamish lali boy. Pnimius ava mamish. Those nogea lo beteva. Those are etzim tivoy. And if when it's his kid, and I've heard him say, how do you call it, mushbar, and do it, I've heard of him in cars. Once I was in a shul in Tzfas, and I heard of a father told me what his kinder tough him, and he didn't do something good or something, so he kept fighting. Was it too? Mamish made an effect on me. Mamish only schrien auf him, and getumelt and shit. I said, ich kann da Makubel, hat keine. Later, when I wrote this in it says, I look back over the end and I thought, oh, jetzt verstehe ich. Das ist mit der Ahava Atzmi. That's because, yeah, he was I mentioned by Stace, a spontaneous person. The TVs just came out, and the father, he just can't take it. He can't see Fatok. Pavu is, well, this is sein Ben, and he's Mukusha to him. Yeah, mit der Ahava Atzmi is, and wie kommen das nicht her? Nimmt er auf diese, als nicht der Zeit, at the Schreien and the cars, is a lavush. No, the cars does go for ideal. The whole cars and the whole rig, well, that's because of the Ahava and it's a way of expressing it. And because the Ahava is a tivius, the father also comes in, even tivi, mitzad etem, nicht mitzad alavu. And the father doesn't make any sense. A straight of him, tumult of him. So the more cultural person standing there and saying, well, what's first to say cars and Maruis? Take it easy, Dafke doesn't mitzad the Ahava Atzmi. Come on, you have to take it easy. How do you say that? Probably there's a proportion b'chol tova. Aber, says the Rebbe, das ist mitzad the das ist mamish nogeh lelibay. V'chol she'aben yocher yoyse yagir lelibay. What's mehr, the yocher from the zon, is als mehr that'll touch into his heart. Harei, hagam shechitzonius u gvura v'roiges, hine bezeh davke u pnimius u iza ha'av. Now I understand what he said earlier. Yeah, as a kamovis ahava. Yeah, that there's ahava, there's mamish eipacha toiv. There's eipacha begola, there's kilo eipacha toiv. But there's two tzuchonin, as I'm in Indian, well, that gufa is the ahava. It's not the pshat that he's looking for some sort of way of saying something or doing something. No, that's an instinctive thing in Matzad Teva. Pink as if the ahava is the etzema teva. That's also the etzema Ateva, and the etzema rigas, or that's the expression of the Ahava itself. Not that he's put himself into some sort of a way of expressing himself. Dos Kufa is the etzema Ahava. You and Bezeh, Shagvura enek vay levush el Ahava. Shevoyim kozeh udavke bashpoa shemitad Ahava. Now that he's going to say, wait a minute, it's mavur. And so there is such an inyan where a father, thinks about a kevin, he brings a inyan from Gevura against the son. So the Rebbe said that is where be'etzim, the whole kavona, is that he really wants to give the son. And he's concerned with the imin fanashpa. He wants to give his son. He's got a whole inyan for chinuk, not he wants to approach his son. He will give. So you see sometimes that he's not really ready for that, or maybe the ashpur is a little bit too much for him, or not. So sometimes he has to go a bit sharp. You have to. Maybe he might even have to be miyasar say gamke. You might have to give him a few pets occasionally to keep him, in the discipline which is necessary. But the emes kavanah dort is ashita von ashpur von hatova. In other words, you want to be mechanic him, you want to bring him up the right way, you want to make sure he'll go on the right way. That's all Hashpur. So it's Hashpur. And really what's behind it, the whole Mahalach, is Hashpur. He's really giving the son. So Inyonim make it difficult for the Makabel to be Makabel, and therefore he has to go sharp. And
that could be lav dafka from a father to a ben.
Yeah, that happens often, even in other forms of Hashpur. Nachon. Aber in the normale Leben trifft es bei Vater mit der Son. In der Fall kommt that there is a Gvura Sheba Chesed. Und das ist doch Chesed, Hashpur is Chesed, so. That's a Gvura Sheba Chesed. Here, when all of a sudden, it becomes, I can't go to Shach, I can't just, an eye to give him. He said, that's not Hashpur. He's not trying to educate him, he's not trying to bring him up, he's not trying to do anything, Boy Zarega. You just can't take him. I can't. Why? Because this is Emelane. That's his own etzim. A straight, mitzad the toike for Ava, that itself becomes Gvura. It becomes an Inish Gvura. Or it's on a cheshbon, on a goddess. And that's one becoming the other. I think when he, normally the idea of the cars, B'shas the chesed gvura shebechesed, well, that's where there's already a hashpah and a shita looking for the benefit of the son, and then you have to use certain shaf for inyanim kitay that should come by from Musuda. And this is another. Though this kiru, it's mamish, what you might call what's the expression? This goes from Zichalai. What's the expression? It's I forget the English word. It just happens.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous. It's just spontaneous. It's just the etzem itself giving itself out. Understand? So sometimes, you might see dvarim temuyim, but you have to understand where it's really coming from. We have to be careful not to come along and say, there's a whole view of this, why it can be a chayesvot to his son. Nicht das ankrieg auf meint man nicht. Aber mir meint it when so the Pfarrer geht geschrei, gib mir guck, was ist du da getan? That's not ashpur. No, this is the etzem avo is geworden. The etzem avo hat sich angetan. And not ongetan, the etzem avo became geworden. And we'll score an andere in it. And that's what he says now. Elavush elav, sheboivim kotzeh, davke bashpur, shemitzad avo. Akemo yav, shemitzad avo, also the b'nai haru mashpilo. He wants to give him education, wants to give him Torah and musogim. Chorik lahalim, bezeh ha'avo v'chesed, shlo yizgala b'yoyser, b'ktei sheti ashpur, lefi erech haben. If he just gives him all avo, you're one over here, I am, and I'm educating men. That's chayslachen. Therefore, you have to give the education in a way of gvuris b'toich achsodim. And therefore, that's all in order that sof kotsov shaben yuchel lekabel. He should be able to be mekabel the inyonim. Remember the ikar there is the ashpur. The gvura is kidei letakin the ashpur that it should be miskabel by the mekabel. Over here, it's got nothing to do with kanishpur. It's got nothing to do with a shitta. It's got nothing to do with anything. Just the etzem just can't take it. The etzem just goes out and becomes a initial gvura. He said, it could be that in the middle of a certain inyan that he's trying to get across to his son as a way in life and a whole how to bring him up and how that he should grow and he should benefit from his surroundings with the whole inyan, that sometimes you have to be malim the ava, and you have to sort of do it in a sharp way and in a more strict way. It's a lavush to the apple. This is Gevura Sheba Chesed. The lavush of Gevura is Kilu Niklal in the Chesed. Obi Emes HaGvura Enam Chizam Mitias. It's not really Emes HaGvura. Sharei Hu Rak Lahalim B'ktei Sheyez Galas Ha'ava Boivin to call it Kabel. That's not really Gvura, and that's what's Mavura in those places. It's not really Gvura because Sof Kosov, the whole aim of that Gvura is to give him what we really want for him, or what's really best for him. But over there, all of a sudden they flee to their cars because the Gefahren, that's got nothing to do with Hashpur. That's the Etzem Av itself giving itself out in another language. It's a politic in here. But the whole Gvura over there is only in order to be Lishkabel. We're giving him. Vahelim Bezeh, Eino Helim Gomu. Even if he's I forget, that's brought down that the father really wants the son to go away after a session with him and think, oh, my daughter he was sharp today, he was upset. And the son thinks to him, he says, yeah, but if I stay, really what's going on here? I understand my daughter will. I said, well, the ben has to be soft, afilu oila ala ainin as a biatmai. And on the contrary, that's one of the shleimus of the Indian, that when he's teifet or masik, or the Matore, the Gevura, that's a Shleimus by Ainian. Aber in this particular we're talking about, ein b'zeh kol how do you call it, kol התהליך הזה. וההלם בזה אין ההלם גמור, גם ממעלה מה עושים ממנו, והאהבה היא רק חיצונית. It's like Ava, it's Ava Muslims, aber so it's not the etim tibius of the Ava. Maar zeggen beregens anal, had is a gvura mamish, that misrag is a miskayes, he mamish gets furious. B'shas ma'aser, shehu b'chas olo, he mamish gets angry. Ach is it tzibas hakas u Ava atzmiyah. הרי שעצם מהוסה של הגבורה היא אהבה. לא שהיא רק לבוש אל האהבה, כי עצם מהוסה הוא האהבה דווקא האהבה עצמית ממש. It's glorious appelle. Aber es ist I've never quite seen as I'm in gang. Kommt das nicht zusammen. I've seen Biuri Mamukim in the second fall. A lot of Biuri Mamukim and other sons so hele opinion so in of a state and dus there's a slimers and a hin and a her and now you have to know how to be miyasi your son if you really want to be mechanichim and all sorts of that. Oh, but there was another appear. There was a touch at the etim av itself becomes raised. The mensch konish von him and that becomes the etim kas itself. That is the av. And it's a spontaneous thing that comes between the tibias. And I will say, go up some andere maße. That's a dogma von Atik becoming Chochman. Das was es da reingeworfen, so, yeah. That's also mitzad a gewisser Chochman, aber not Chochman mit der Shitta. Und nicht mitzad, dass a kilo zamin Chochman, which is there, also in an instinctive way. And this kilo Azayina, which says to him, Sofkosot is yours, and Harai, why isn't he flying to Casa of Yenom's kilo? This kilo, a message inside him, which clicked, how they say nowadays, they use the expression, Simon Nofel. Yeah. It's clicked inside him, and he says, wait a minute, there's a dying kind. That's the same thing what Moshe Ben had to the Avish said, to find, ich weiß was ich tue. I know what I'm doing, but it's a hard one. And Begolui.
But here in the Mashal, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Huh?
Here in the Mashal, he doesn't know what he's doing. The father he has no Kavanah Khan.
No, ain't sure Kavanah.
But thereby the Eibishter was saying, I mean, the Chorah by the Eibishter, it's hard to say the Eibishter.
Yeah, there is a Kavanah, and that's what the Rebbe said, B'chok Motzei. He said, there's Yodva Chokm in there. And that's like I said, that's one of the Inonim, what does happen by another person. So, deep inside the door, Nocher Atzmi, is it is dying to. That's Shulchan. And the same by the Eibishter, deep inside, there is a Pesach, Einim Pesach, זה לא בבחינס הסוגה או הסכולה או איסחתמס. Or it's called Chokmah because of lack of any other beer בזה. אבל יש בזה איזשהו עניין. And certainly Yosid, when Moshiach had come, had been saying what was given the chesed. Or beer will be a different sort of chesed than what we understand in Seichel. Or there'll be a sort of a reason behind it. Wat steht er zijn? Ja, dat is een andere. Dat is een beetje. Ja, enig raam. Dat is een kilo. We zeiden de Eibishter, we thank you for what we didn't understand. Over here will be oile a bissel of was het ook gewend de chesed. There was a chesed. En dat is het pshat, kach alle van machshav. There is a chesed. En dan viel hier bij der mensen zeker wel chesed. Das ist der Pelle. Ja, man was שבא וציר הגבורה, אבל עצם מהוסה היא אהבה עצמיה. That's the way the art finishes. At the finish now, because I've got to get going. It's, do you understand what's going on here? This is mamisha. Oyem dike meise. Ja, man will a mile regels, he pnimis abde, he pnimis atik. he becomes that, one becomes the other. It's not that one is a luvush to the other. And that's what the Rebbe is going to say about Mira. That's a dogma for all the Elomus Vesterium in the Golas. This kommt is that this Arbeit Davki comes in the form of a kilo ador a muster, and it's Golo. You can say what for Arbeit. That's what we're going to see in the coming chapter. So we tell you the time, the Eivsher once before Pesach, we have to sort of hear these in Yonim, and then we have to go out from Alam Adidas.
If we have Yuva, we'll see the Lava Makkava.
Yeah, did you? We've got to get out of the whole thing. In other words, how do you say it's an unbelievable hezbollah, and that's what I'm saying. That's what the Rebbe, that's the difference of the Rebbe. What the Rebbe. Anyway, so what it boils down to is a simple question. Next week, probably, nobody has any Koyah to learn next week.
Beis Hamikdash.
Oh. The Koyah. So in that case, we'll leave it. We won't talk about it. And we'll talk with Shmuel on the final tree. We'll see. Come and think about it. We'll see what's going on. Probably that's also, all the wives say this is going to be done like the ganze Horavani, that's probably also Avat. It comes in the form of a gula.
Does that work with wives and husbands? Sometimes the wife loves the husband and it turns into Gevura.
As they don't verstehen. Yeah. Yeah. The kesher between a wife and a husband is dark to sein. But Emes is a bris. It's called bris anasuyan. A bris this, a bris that. Eino ishu kores is bris. So you from bris. It's a bris is like a bris is a kesher as I mean. Sometimes I deep inside this mind the kesher. You know what I'm saying? I was a base Nissen. I went to the Meister and the Rebbe, the Rebbe Landa told me a story once that once after they went to Rostov, that they were supposed to go about finding out about a new. They were only in a temporary. The deal they now have, that was where the Rebbe eventually went. And so they had to go looking for some place. They had to go look at an apartment to see if this was the right one. They were supposed to take some action about the deal. And so Rav Landa was there when the Robertson came in. She said to the Rebbe, "No, are you ready? We've got to go. It's some ongit, it's some great." So he says, "No." She said, "We have to go. We're aufgehört to make it because it's not okay. We've got to find out about the deal." So the Rebbe said, "Nicht yet." He said, "Can't be now. It's not time." So she said, "We spoke about it. It's aufgehört to make it to the Mechla, or to the Mitavech, or whoever it is. We're going to go and meet him. We have to go. It's aufgehört." And the Rebbe said, "Couldn't escape." The Rebbe said, "So I can't go. Not going." So she said, "What's it?" So she got upset. The Rebbe said, "Los mitru, don't nudge los mitru, So she went away very upset. So Rav Landa was there with the Rebbe, and he said that he couldn't hold himself back. So he said to the Rebbe, I said, "She meant good. She meant good, You're a bit hard on him. It's coming old." He said to the Rebbe, "She meant good." And so the Rebbe said, "Ich weiß." The Rebbe said, "Ich weiß. That she meint gut. Es ist gut. Aber ich bin nicht scheich zu dem und dem Rega. Ich bin im Ganzen nicht in dem." He said, "I can't do it. I'm not in it." That's how I heard it. I heard it for a long time.
So you can be like that all the time?
Huh?
You can be like that all the time?
I don't know, me or that. I mean, you got to do what a person is. I mean, the Yid that gave you these, you know, as a borrow that he wasn't, he wasn't in things like we are, man. I mean, they're moving, but tells you how he was, because that we'll never know even after Mashiach comes. What was he? Yeah, this was the kindness. What we're not, it is basically good. So we have to realize that Sofkosov, das ist Abulis. Aber we can't overuse your powers. You have to realize Sofkosov, da seine Itchashvut. Good. Good. Okay, guys, so listen. Like Ben Chin said, our aim is the base on Yiddish. We can't take any more of this. That's all.
You're not listening.
Has to be the breakthrough. Take me out, mamish. Good, guys.
Family.
Take me out, mamish.